Okay, how to add audio to PowerPoint. I'm going to use this slideshow to show you how you can add audio and optionally video to a set of PowerPoint slides that you have already created. So, if I want to record in a slideshow, I'm using the desktop version of PowerPoint to record this show. And by desktop I mean that I've got a copy of PowerPoint that's downloaded onto the computer. Okay. So Mac or Windows, desktop or laptop, I just mean not the version of PowerPoint that you're accessing through Office 365. Okay, so I'm using the downloaded version of PowerPoint. You need a microphone or camera that's connected to your computer, or you need to have one that's built in. And then I'll run through the process of making a recording. So I'll run through it on this slideshow, and then I'll make an actual recording very briefly so you can see how it works. So to make a recording, you need to go to the slideshow tab, choose record slideshow, and then press record. So go to the slideshow tab, and you have then the option to click on record a slideshow. Note the recording options. You can either record from the current slide, because you might have been working on it and be part way through and it'll pick that up, or record from the beginning. Normally you'll want to record from the beginning, but there may be times when you want to record from the current slide. That's up to you. Okay, this is just a sample slide that I'm using for the purposes of this recording, and I'll add some annotations to it when I kind of run through and do the actual recording. When I'm in recording mode, I have a set of controls in front of me. So there are controls that are available at the top to kind of start the recording and to stop the recording. You can also replay the recording if you want to do so. You can also move on to the next slide and go back to the previous slides. It will show you some of the timing details of the show that you're narrating so far. And then there are optional kind of annotation controls, so you can use like a highlighter or a pen control to highlight things that are on the screen. You've also got some audio and video options, okay, so you can record audio only, or you can also choose to record video, okay, and that'll pick up either from the built-in webcam or a webcam that you've got connected. For some staff, they prefer audio only because they don't want to feature on these slides. That also has the advantage of producing smaller files at the end of the day. However, some staff like to feature it as a video within the recording, and there's some evidence that some students find that quite useful because there's more of a sense of connection with the person who's talking. So it's entirely up to you what you prefer to do. When we're recording in PowerPoint, you can pause the recording. So if you get partway through a set of slides and you're thinking that you've lost track of your thoughts, you want to check your notes or something, then you can pause the recording. To complete the recording, you have to get to the last slide. So go through to the last slide, and then PowerPoint understands that you've finished recording, and at that point you can jump out of the recording. And again, I'll show you how to do it. PowerPoint will then save the changes you've made. So any audio that you've recorded or any video that you've recorded, plus any annotations that you've made. But where's the recording? So you may realise the computer's saving a few things, but it's not going to work. Clear what's happening. You need to export the PowerPoint show as a video, and you can do that within PowerPoint. So to export your recording, go to File from the Tabs menu, then to Export. You'll then get some export options. So you're going to create a video, okay? The exact settings that you might get will depend upon your particular computer, but by default it will try and create it in what's called Full HD. Accept that, that's fine. And by default, once you've created one, it will give you the option to use the timings, okay? That's what you want to do, right? So on this particular screenshot, it's saying don't use recorded timings because there were no timings or narrations have been recorded. And that's because when I was creating the screenshots for this, at that point I hadn't recorded the sample slideshow. As soon as I record the sample slideshow, as you'll see when I do it in a few months, or when you've recorded a slideshow, you'll have the option to use the timings from your slideshow. And you want that because you will have spent more time talking about some slides than others, and you will have advanced and moved through them. And so PowerPoint will have recorded those actions, and you want to keep those actions. That's it, done. So depending on the length of your recording and the power of your computer, it may take several minutes to produce. Okay, it produces what's called an MP4 movie file. You can upload this then to Now, or you could put it onto a shared OneDrive folder, or other options of your choosing. Some staff like to put stuff up onto YouTube, for example. Some people will use the NTU Zendit service. Some people will, if it's under 20 megabytes, you can, if it's a short recording, you can send it out as an attachment as an email. Crucially, because it's an MP4, it should play on modern devices. So whether people are using computers with Mac or Windows, or whether people are using tablets, Android, iPad, whatever, most mobile phones, okay, they will play this file. So it's a really good format that it's offering to record it in. It's an efficient format, and it's fairly universally playable. Okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do now is jump out of this show and record myself now doing a recording within the PowerPoint system. So I'll just hit escape, which takes me just out of that full screen view. I'm going back to my first slide. So let's go through. So I'm going to go slideshow, record slideshow, and I've now gone into the record slideshow view. Okay. So I've got the option to record, which I'll press in a moment. That'll start the recording, and then I can stop the recording. I'll also get the option to pause it once I'm playing. I can go back to the previous slide. I can go on to the next slide. This is showing me that I've got 10 slides, and as I start to make the recording in a few months, you will notice, if you look, that it keeps track of how long it's been playing for. You can use a pen tool and a highlighter tool. Okay, there's also an eraser tool if you've made some annotations and you want to remove them. You can change the color of the tools that you're using these color settings. We can turn the microphone off or on. So by default it detects that you've got a microphone plugged in, and it turns it on because at the very least you're going to want to record audio. And optionally you may want to record some video. I'm not going to record video for this demonstration because I'm already recording video using some other software. Okay, and if I try and do it, it'll probably give me an error message. But for staff who are just making a recording, if you turn camera on, if you've got a camera that's built into the computer or you've got a webcam connected, okay, it'll find it, and then you'll get a little preview window that shows what the camera's seen. Okay, so if you need to move around, okay, adjust where you're at or something, get a little preview, you can see that. And then it will add in a little kind of video clip. Okay, so let's hit record and do a sample recording. So start the recording, get a little countdown, 3, 2, 1 on the screen. Okay, I'm off. So how to add audio to PowerPoint, I'm going to go through. Now imagine that this was a set of my slides that I was using, and it's got the contents for a show. Okay, so for this demonstration I'm just using the PowerPoint about how to record within PowerPoint. Okay, I'll also make this PowerPoint available as well as the video recording. So I'm going to go through, and obviously I could talk about the contents of the slide. So imagine that this is, one of your modules. It's a set of lecture slides and you're talking about it. You would just talk about it, blah blah blah, whatever you want to do. I've come through to the picture bit here just to give you an example of demonstrate the pen. So if I get the highlighter, if I wanted to highlight particular things, then I can do that. Okay, so it's a yellow highlighter. It's not showing up that one on the car. Let's go different color. Okay, so if I was highlighting various things, I can do that. Or if I want to use the pen tool to point something out. Okay, so we've got a big radial mass that's on the top of Newton, that kind of thing, I can do that. Okay, if you've got a stylus that you can use with the computer, you can do a much neater version of stuff. But it depends what you want to do. So, you may or may not want to do it depending on your particular approach. It is entirely up to you. Okay, so I can highlight different things in different colors. Can be quite useful, especially if you've got some images within the recording. Okay, let me just continue through Okay, so I'm just going through my slides, and again, if you note down here, look, I'm on to slide 7 of 10. It's showing me how long I've spent on this individual slide and the total recording time so far. So I'm just going to run through. So I've now got to the end. Fantastic, that's it done. So I've clicked on advance, and now these controls are blanked out, okay, and the recording has stopped. So the last slide I was just on for 2 seconds. I'm just doing a demo, and the total recording time was 1 minute 50. Right. I'm now going to press escape on my keyboard, and this will jump me out of recording mode. Okay, so I've jumped out of recording mode. Fantastic. What I want to do now is export this as a file. So I'm going to go File, Export, Create a Video, and it's saying, giving me this default offering full HD. I'm going to go with it. Use recorded timers and narrations. Right, so think back to when I was doing the slides earlier, when I had that static image, it didn't give me that option, right? But now I've made an actual recording, it's giving me that option. You will normally want to do this, okay, because you have spent different amounts of time on different slides as you've gone through, and you may have added kind of various annotations if it's relevant. Okay, so if I'm happy with that, I'm now going to hit create video, and it will create the video. Where do I want to put it? I'm just gonna let me put it up on here, hit save, and now it's creating the video. So I can see, and you may be able to see that down here, I'll zoom in on recording, so it's creating the video, it's running through. It may take a little while to do, okay? Compared to some software that's specialist video software, it's a bit slow to render, but it's not, it's not too bad at all. So I'm going to, through the magic of editing, wash out for a moment and come back when it's done. Okay, so what I've done is I've let the recording render, okay, and I told it to put the recording onto my desktop, and here it is on my desktop. And so if I double click on this now, it'll now play within the default player, okay. This is a short recording, just under 2 minutes, but we can see it's 26 megabytes, so it's not massive by today's standards, would be still just slightly too big to attach to most email systems. Okay, so if I double click on it. Okay, so how to add audio to PowerPoint. Okay, and it's going away. The volume's slightly low, the level, but it's not too bad at all, really. And so it's running through. This is the recording that I made, okay. And in fact, if I grab the recorder controls from this default player, I can run through, and again, you can see where I'm going. The annotation should appear in a moment on here that I did earlier. In fact, yeah, it's appearing now. You can tell I haven't rehearsed this, but here we go. Creative Commons image, by the way, suitably attributed. Okay, so you can see the annotations, and again, run through, and it runs through to the end quite happily. That's it, done. Okay, so this recording and the slideshow that I based the recording on are both available to colleagues. Come back to me if you've got any questions. Contact me either by email or through the Microsoft Teams. Okay, hope it's helpful.